We've all seen Logan Paul grow throughout the years. From his early days on Vine and YouTube to even now, we've at least heard of the great Logan Paul. We've seen him at his highs and his lows, and throughout the years we've seen him become a better person, right? No, because behind that smile and all the things he's tried to do to make it seem like he's a better person, every now and then, he'll show glimpses of who he really is. I'll shortly cover his early days on Vine and YouTube. I'll also cover some of the bigger controversies throughout the years and what we can learn from him. And then finally, the question I want to answer, has he changed? Is he a better man, or is he worse than ever? Now look, I don't want to get too deep into this because I feel like everyone kind of knows already, but I'll cover the main shenanigans. He first blew up in 2016 on Vine, making those old school humor vines, you know, like make a big deal and be loud equals funny. I feel like back then everyone was kind of brain dead anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But after making a bunch of vines, he'd eventually move on to YouTube, you know, where he'd make similar style of content in terms of cringe. But after making a bunch of vines and eventually moving to YouTube, he moved to LA, the city of clout, AIDS, and the city where everyone thinks they're the shit. This is back when he was a bit more innocent, you know? And as he grew, his ego grew with him. What made him popular was his fast-paced, cringy, energetic content, you know, from the old YouTube era. And as for who he is, he was this charismatic, high-energy guy who was a bit of a narcissist. I mean, even back then, you could tell he thought pretty highly of himself. And I also feel like as soon as you see someone move to LA for the influencer life, you kind of know who they're gonna be in a way. Earliest example of this, Phase House, right? A bunch of guys in New York making, you know, fun videos in a house. They move to LA, suddenly everything starts to fall apart. I don't think I have to explain to you the whole LA influencer life thing. I'm sure there's a lot of shitty people in that, you know, sphere.
The youngest flex of the century.
My disappointment is immeasurable. And my day is ruined.
Now there's a lot of bullshit I can bring up in terms of his controversies, but I want to just bring up the main points and the main ones that show you who he really is. Now the first one I want to bring up very quickly, Japan, right? We all know what happened there. I'm not going to touch on it too much, but basically him and his posse go to the not so alive forest in Japan and they come across a dead body. Now the part where a lot of people hate Logan is for him, you know, laughing at the dead body. Okay, yeah, sure, some people laugh in the worst situations because they're nervous, you know, but the part that really shows you who he really is him uploading the video. It shows you how hungry he is for clout, how much he wants the attention, how much he wants the views. And when he got backlash from it, when he saw it affected his viewership and his pockets, that's when he decided to make one of the worst YouTube apologies ever. You could feel the phoniness, you know, it felt like a fucking ChatGPT script.
And stopped recording what we were going through. There's a lot of things I should have done differently, but I didn't. And for that, from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry.
If he didn't get backlash for it, it would have just been another video in his catalog and he wouldn't have felt bad for it. No, it wasn't until he got called out for it and he got drops in views and it affected his pockets that he decided to, I'm sorry, CryptoZoo. Now in 2021, Logan announced CryptoZoo, right? It was this fun to play game. Oh, you can make money on it. Oh, it's so easy to play, blah, blah, blah. Logan was hyping up CryptoZoo like Hitler hyping up the Third Reich. He said it was this huge project he spent 1 million shekels on, and you know what, people gravitated towards it because one, crypto was huge at the time. Two, it was Logan promoting it, so it got out to a lot of people. Three, people started to trust Logan at this point. People, you know, it'd been a long time since the whole Japan situation, so people thought, oh, you know what, he's probably a better guy now. How wrong we fucking were. He baited us harder than when you know, tell your fat friend that there's gonna be food at the party. And trust me, I was that friend.
September 1st, CryptoZoo.co. I'm gonna tease it. It's quick to make a digital asset with, you know, unique, randomly generated characteristics. We handmade art for the past 6 months, bro. Approval, very specific notes, 10 different artists making art.
Are you sure about that?
At launch, the thing didn't even work. People couldn't hatch their eggs. You couldn't even, you know, get your money back. The main attraction for this whole thing didn't work. It was worse than Cyberpunk at launch. And nothing's worse than Cyberpunk at launch. You had people losing money like virgins on OnlyFans. Turns out Logan didn't pay his developers, and basically one of his developers decided to snatch the code until him and his colleague got paid. And then Logan tries to flip it like, oh, no. One of the developers is holding the code hostage, like it's Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. But sadly, Logan didn't have a breach charge for the castle on the door. Basically, everyone got scammed. Logan didn't say anything about it until he got exposed by CoffeeZilla, then is forced to apologize, just like with the Japan situation. If it weren't for CoffeeZilla, he wouldn't have said a word about it. Then he tried to save face by saying, oh, people are gonna get refunded and all that. But guess what? That didn't happen either. Do you see a recurring theme here? You know, it's all gonna come together. Just give me a few more minutes, just a little more time. The picture will paint itself, or whatever. Now there's the George Janko situation. If you don't know about the George and Logan fallout, I'll try to explain it briefly and as simple as possible. What happened was, on one episode of Impulsive, they had a guest on, Bobby Lee, right, a comedian. Well into the episode, George tries to, you know, open up and tell everyone that, you know, even though he had everything he wanted not too long ago, he just didn't feel fulfilled and he was unhappy until he found God. Bobby Lee immediately makes fun of him and, you know, calls it a whole monologue. It could have been shorter. Basically just makes fun of him. And then George proceeds to shut down for the rest of the episode, like at least while he's there.
You know? It was just a long monologue.
He was just waiting.
And let me just say something. I loved what you were saying. It was just very long.
No. That's usually me. That's usually.
But you know, I got what you're saying, and you really inspired me, George.
The one thing I will say is, look, I love Bobby Lee, but look, George needs to know his audience. I feel like Bobby Lee is one of those people that deflects feelings and emotions and turns it into humor. I feel like we all do, but Bobby more than most. Later, Logan calls out George, saying, oh, he's shut down and all that, and then boom. George, without saying a word, just leaves. Then, after receiving a bit of backlash, a few episodes later, Logan decides to attack George for his religion, claiming that Christianity condemns gays. Instead of having a civilized discussion about this, no. Logan decides to attack George and his religion for, you know, not liking gay people, even though George clearly stated over and over he has no problem with gay people. Logan just, no bueno to be Christian, that's no sir.
What makes you think I'm going around condemning people? That's what I want to know. Because you always put that on me. You always yell at me about gay people. I never once talk about gay people.
Because you're subscribed to the doctrine that perpetuates that information.
I'm subscribed to love my neighbor.
Not everyone in your religion is.
Yeah, but
That's
but singling out.
not fine.
Hold on, let me say.
Logan didn't care about Christianity or any of that. He just wanted to hate on George because people were siding with George over the Bobby Lee episode. Logan felt some sort of resentment towards George, so he decided to go after him and his religion, seeking some sort of revenge. This wasn't too long ago, and over we keep seeing Logan act like a fucking child. So just because you listen to Michael Jackson, you like kids? No, you know, we forget about that part. That never happened. No, I'm just kidding. What I'm trying to say is Logan just made himself look like a fucking idiot. And recently George had Mike on his podcast where, you know, Logan would make a debunking video or debunking TikTok, right? Logan debunked, you know, a bunch of the stuff that, you know, George said on his podcast, but he did it in the worst way possible. Not, you know, didn't even give context to a lot of the things, cutting clips short, and also leaving out one of the most important parts where George claims that he was sexually assaulted by Bobby Lee over and over again, touching, you know, him touching his dick.
I never had a problem with Bobby Lee.
No, he knows
I
that.
had a problem with the way that Logan and you were kind of gassing him to keep doing. He started the episode putting his balls in my face. I let that one go. Then every 2 seconds, he kept grabbing my dick.
I don't think.
How would you feel if a man that has his back completely towards you, that only turns around to grab your dick,
Right.
talk shit to your face, and you can't smack or beat the living breaks off of this guy? Because Logan makes me apologize to this man, or I don't have a job on Impulsive anymore.
That never came up in Logan's TikTok. Pretty convenient, don't you ask me? Wait, don't you ask me? Whatever. Now, Prime. Now, I have some Prime right in front of me. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. Dog shit. I'd rather drink my own mom's vaginal juices. Here's what I don't like about Prime. One, why is it marketed towards 12-year-olds? What, so they can stay up all night and hit sick clips, you know?
Fuck her right in the pussy.
or even a hydration drink. I doubt their audience is in the gym pumping iron or playing sports to the degree where they need Prime, right? Another thing, they claim it's healthy. Oh, your daily vitamins, electrolytes and all that.
Every drink that they compare themselves with actually have way better hydrating or sports drink properties than what they do.
$10 Australian and £5 for something that hasn't even got the right electrolytes or the right mixtures to call it a legitimate hydration beverage is a rip-off.
Then there's also the forever chemicals, right? Which in short can stun your growth and or cause ball cancer. See, if I were to lose my testicles at war, yeah, brother, fuck, get him, America. But over a fucking bottle of Prime? But Logan doesn't care about what's in Prime. He only cares about the money. So now what does this whole video lead us to? Where does it leave us? And it's led us to the end, the dark truth of Logan Paul. Now, with Japan, he doesn't just laugh at a dead body, but he records it and uploads it. It shows how hungry he is for attention and views and money. And it showed us he'll only apologize when he gets called out for it. Lack of empathy and chases clout. CryptoZoo claimed handmade art, but a fucking old lady with Parkinson's can do a better job than that. He didn't pay his developers. He lied to his fans, and he only apologized after, CoffeeZilla exposed him. It shows what he's willing to do for money, willing to fuck over his fans, and he also lacks accountability. George Janko situation. Feels very little empathy for his friend, bashes George and his religion for what? Over because people sided with him over the Bobby Lee episode. This one really shows emotional immaturity and how nasty he can really be. And then there's Prime. Everything wrapped up in a one. Knows his fans are young and willing to go for the Prime hype. Chasing clout. Doesn't know or doesn't care what's in Prime as long as it makes him money. Thousands of people could die over Prime, but if no one says a thing, he's not gonna care. Willing to fuck over his fans because he only cares about the money and he could fuck over his fans time and time again without losing a single bit of sleep. It shows that he can't see past himself. It shows emotional immaturity. So no, I don't think he's the same guy who, went to a forest, laughed at a dead body and uploaded it. No. I think he's gotten a lot worse. Because he's making so much money, he could give a shit about his fans, or anyone else for that matter. The only thing he truly cares about is himself. And if I'm being honest, I think he's trying to please the camera so much that he switches up who he is every 5 minutes, to the point where, he just doesn't even know who he is. The best way I can put this is he's basically like Rango, right? But instead of becoming, this character that develops and becomes better over time and becomes what he seeks out to be, which is the hero of his own story, he keeps on being the same coward Rango was in the beginning of the film, not learning a single thing along the way. Now, if you made it to the end of the video, I want to thank you. I appreciate it. I'm pretty sure you're clicking off now, but just tell me what you think. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, whatever. I just hope that you enjoyed the video and you got something out of it. Maybe you gained a little perspective. Maybe I can gain a little perspective from you in the comments. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later.